The Weather Authority local forecast right now.
From Montana's Weather Center, we got a nice stretch of sunshine over the past few days, but you know that's all going to be changing. Another cold front means rain, maybe a few thunderstorms. Right now, your current temperature is 51 degrees in Bozeman, 56 in Butte, 57 in cloudy in Kalispell, but clear in Missoula with a current temperature of 58 degrees. I'm back with more on the weather in just a few minutes here on ABC Montana's Local News at 10.
Right now, this is ABC Montana, Local News at 10, your local news leader.
UM's president says the release of Jon Krakauer's book about rapes at the University of Montana offers an opportunity to learn. Good evening and welcome to the ABC Montana News at 10. I'm Angela Marshall.
And I'm David Winter. Tonight it's number 3 on Apple iTunes list of audiobooks and number 22 on iBooks.
And Jon Krakauer's book, Missoula, Rape and the Justice System in a College Town, is flying off bookstore shelves.
It's been a steady stream of people that are buying one at a time, maybe 2 at a time to take, and I know there's some book clubs that plan to read and discuss. People are curious, people are serious, they want to talk.
Thoreau says about 50 people pre-ordered the book and others frequented the store today for the sole purpose of purchasing the nonfiction work. The best-selling author of Into Thin Air and Into the Wild takes a look at a string of sexual assaults that occurred at UM between 2010 and 2012. Krakauer examines the university court system as well as the handling of such cases by the Missoula County Attorney's Office. The book details the actions of Kirsten Pabst, who was a deputy county attorney at the time. Now county attorney, Pabst will hold a press conference about the book tomorrow at noon. University of Montana's president says this book will serve as an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to lead.
In an email sent to students and staff this morning, Royce Engstrom said the university has learned a great deal over the past 3.5 years and is aware of the work ahead. The university has revised policies, offered mandatory training, new and improved programs, and hired additional personnel. He says, quote, UM is stronger, safer, and better aligned with best practices because of our continuing work. The Chronicle of Higher Education recently asked Engstrom to submit an essay outlining his views on signs of progress for curbing sexual assault on campus.
Well, taking a deeper look at our lead story, a patchwork of messages displaying support, hope, and unity for victims of sexual assault went on display today at the University of Montana. The Student Advocacy Resource Center, or SARC, says the goal of the Hope Quilt is to continue to raise awareness of sexual violence on campus and in the Missoula community. "You are never alone, and she took her power back without permission" are some of the handwritten notes sewn onto the blanket. SARC offers a 24-hour support line if you need someone to talk to at any time.
The former public information officer for the Missoula County Sheriff, who was fired, plans to file a complaint against the department.
The location of where this incident may have taken place has not been released at this time.
The Missoula County Sheriff's Office says that Paige Pavallone lied during an investigation into a co-worker, but her attorney says Pavallone is being punished for supporting another candidate for sheriff. He says Pavallone plans to file a complaint with the Human Rights Commission. While officials on both sides were unable to appear on camera today, it's not the first time they've spoken to the media about discrimination suits. In a January 2014, a Human Rights Bureau investigation found then Sheriff Carl Ibsen discriminated against deputies T.J. McDermott and Jason Johnson. Missoula County Commissioners approved a $60,000 settlement for each deputy.
Health alert, STDs are on the rise in Big Sky country according to a new report. In 2014, Montana's gonorrhea cases nearly doubled to more than 400 according to the Department of Public Health and Human Services. At least half of last year's STD cases reported occurred in people ages 15 to 24. University campuses are working to reduce cases by encouraging all to have healthy communication with their partner.
Getting into a relationship with somebody, it's always important to ask those questions like, what is this relationship going to look like? Is it a monogamous relationship or isn't it? Is it going to be a sexual relationship or isn't it? Those are all really good questions that you should have and conversations that you should be comfortable having.
Montana's chlamydia cases increased to more than 4,100 last year. DPHHS highly encourages people to take advantage of STD screenings, many of which are offered free of charge at Montana universities.
The Montana healthcare system gets recognition. 7 Montana health facilities are named among the top 100 critical access hospitals nationwide. The recognition from iVantage Health Analytics uses 62 different matrices, including quality, affordability, and satisfaction. Facilities making the list in western Montana include Livingston Healthcare, Barrett Memorial Hospital in Dillon, and Community Hospital of Anaconda. We have the full list posted on our website, abcfoxmontana.com.
Montana schools may need to brace for big changes to the federal Common Core testing requirements. Rather than yearly mandated tests, Senator Jon Tester would like to lower the requirement to just a single test for each elementary, middle, and high school. He says the move to fewer tests will benefit students and teachers by no longer forcing that educators be, quote, teaching to the test. But if schools wanted to continue annual tests, they could do so.
In some states and school districts, rigid annual testing may be the right way to go. But in a lot of schools in Montana and many places in this country, I can tell you that high-stakes testing is an expensive way to judge school districts, and it's a bad way to prepare kids for the future.
Senator Tester says he anticipates including his proposal and is an amendment to the Every Child Achieves Act, legislation that recently passed unanimously out of committee. Even if the Every Child Achieves Act passes through the Senate with the amendment, experts say the bill could face an uphill battle in the House. Well, continuing coverage tonight, 50 hours and counting in the search for a missing 8-year-old girl, and still no signs of her as the search becomes more desperate.
We've had reporters on the scene for the past 2 days. That includes our Spencer Conlon, who joins us now live from Headwaters State Park with the latest. Spencer, how does it look out there?
Angela and David, once again, search crews have been called off for the night, and this family unfortunately has to go through yet another night not knowing where their little girl is. Since the search on Monday commenced, there have been over 40 search and rescuers scouring the Madison River. They did have some more technology on hand today, including more underwater cameras and other sonic gear. But a question is beginning to linger. Will they ever locate this little girl? Sheriff Brian Gutkin tells me that calling off a search is a difficult decision and only comes when search and rescuers have exhausted the search area entirely. He says they are not, at this time, considering calling off the search anytime soon. I also asked the sheriff how the family has been coping with this tragedy, and he says they are doing as good as you would expect.
They really are. They're troopers. They have a great family support system, and they understand the difficulties that we have as far as, and we're communicating with them constantly, letting them know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and they've been great.
Angela and David, today crews were focusing on a particular area today just north of the command center. It is unclear, however, at this point what has led them to that location. And as I said, Brian Gutkin says they are not letting up on this search anytime soon, as crews will be out here first thing tomorrow morning. Reporting live outside of Three Forks, Spencer Conlon, back to you.
All right, thanks, Spencer. Well, coming up on the ABC Montana News at 10, a measure requiring more disclosure for campaign money is about to become law. More about its passage is still to come.
And then in sports, some record-breaking performances at today's Western Montana Top 10 meet. We'll have those highlights, very impressive, and more coming up next. Stay tuned.
Mic check, mic check.
ABC Montana Sports with Dominic Sheldon.
Hello everyone and welcome to sports. I'm being told we do not have our first story, so in that case we will jump directly to some high school softball highlights. Hellgate and Big Sky squaring off in some crosstown action, and this one always exciting between the two. We start off early in the game, Big Sky doing work off the get-go. That's Jamie Schaefer on the single to center. Quincy Preston scores to make it 1-0. Then later in the inning, it's Kendall Mooney with a ground ball to second. It's bobbled and the throw gets away. 3-0 Eagles. And then we jump to the bottom of the second now. Bases loaded and Kendall Mooney back up at bat. This time a nice snag by Tally Hill to get out of the jam. But as soon as we get to the top of the third, 2 on with 2 out, Macy Newberry gets the backwards K to end the inning, and the Eagles win it 10-0. The defending Big Sky champion Grizzly men's tennis team is getting ready to defend their title this weekend. The Grizzlies are the 3 seed after finishing in a tie for second place in the regular season. They're a young squad after graduating 5 from last year's team, but because of that, head coach Chris Nord feels the team will head into the tournament relaxed and knowing they have nothing to lose.
I feel like we're free rolling a little bit. You know, last year there was a lot of tension. We had a good team, 5 seniors, they all participated and they wanted it so badly that we had to overcome that last year too. This year we've got good talent and everybody gets to come back and give it a crack again next year. So it's less pressure. I really hope we just go down there and compete well and enjoy the experience.
In the final weekend of the regular season, the Grizzly women's tennis team knocked off Weber State and Idaho State. And today, senior Sasha Carter was honored as the Big Sky Women's Tennis Player of the Week after she finished the regular season undefeated. Carter defeated Christy Elmer 6-0, 6-2, and then knocked off her Idaho State opponent 6-1, 6-0 the next day. The senior from Bay Bridge Island, Washington will attempt to lead the Grizz to a Big Sky championship next weekend in Sacramento as they take on Portland State in the first round on Friday at 3. The Grizzly softball team will hit the road this weekend for their second-to-last conference road trip at Portland State. But before they leave Missoula, they'll welcome in the University of Great Falls for a non-conference game. UGF comes into the game with one of the best pitchers in the NAIA ranks and a winning record. While it could be easy for some Montana players to look past the Argos in favor of their conference games this weekend, outfielder in Great Falls High graduate Mercedes Bourgeois admits this game brings a little more added excitement.
You know, I know a couple of girls on the team and all, and like it was always a possibility to go to UGF if nothing else worked, but I want to beat them real bad. Like, the biggest thing is it's my hometown and I want to win.
It was a beautiful day for some track and field at the Western Montana Top 10 track meet. We start off with the boys' 110-meter hurdles, and one of the best names in Montana sports, Cleet Rosinski of Ennis, came in as the top hurdler, finishes that way in 15:08. Then in the girls, it was Upset City. Butte Central's Rachel McCree, not one of the top 5 heading in, but she gets the win there with a personal best of 15.43. Boys 100-meter dash now, Dalton Dahm, the #1 seed heading in, and he keeps that form going. Finishes first at 11.12 seconds. Now we jump to some field events in the high jump. Jed Nagler of Whitefish clearing 6'5", which gets him in the first place position. Then in the boys 1600 meter, Ian Anderson of Helena High posts his season best time of 4 minutes 32 seconds for the win. And then we go to some meet record-breaking performances. The girls mile, that's Annie Hill, the freshman from Glacier, with more than 100 meters in between her and second place, finishes with a new meet record time of 4 minutes 51 seconds. Then to the pole vault, attempting 16 feet is Chase Smith of Helena. He clears it, and that would be the first time ever a high school athlete in Montana would clear 16 feet, but he was far from done. His goal was to get over 5 meters, 16 feet 5 inches. He does just that on the first attempt. Worth noting, the state record is 15 feet 9 inches. That was set 25 years ago. And coming up a little later in the show, Manny Pacquiao is going to make a lot of money in his upcoming fight, but just how much, we'll tell you in a bit. But for now, we'll head back to the desk with Angela and David.
All right, thanks a lot, Don. Well, coming up after the break, a bear falsely accused of killing a calf and captured along with one of his friends. We'll show you what happened to them in about 2 minutes.
And then coming up later in the newscast, what's this little guy's story? We'll show you coming up. Stay with us.
You're watching ABC Montana, local news at 10, your local news leader.
Governor Steve Bullock will sign a bill into law tomorrow that will shed light on dark campaign funding. The Montana Disclose Act will require expenditures that affect Montana elections to be public. Senate Bill 289 passed out of the legislature April 15th and takes its last step to becoming a law when it's signed by the governor in Helena tomorrow.
And Governor Bullock addresses the growing problem of bullying by signing an anti-bullying bill into law today. Governor Bullock says that he signs this bill as a governor, an interested community member, and as a father. The Bully Free Montana Act, formerly House Bill 284, instructs local school districts to create a process where students and their families can report and address bullying.
15 legislators who originally voted against closing the Montana Developmental Center have changed their votes to instead support closing the centers. If Senate Bill 411 passes, the center will shut down entirely and most patients will be relocated to community centers. Extreme needs patients will temporarily be allowed to stay at the center while it phases into complete closure. The bill will go to the Senate for its second reading tomorrow.
A bear trapping gone awry. Wildlife officials in the Flathead Valley net 2 innocent bears while trying to trap a grizzly that is believed to have killed livestock. According to FWP, a large male grizzly was implicated in the death of a calf. Traps were set. While they did catch 2 bears, they say the bear they were looking for was nowhere to be found. The 2 captured bears have been released to the Hungry Horse Reservoir in Lost Creek. For now, FWP is hopeful that the bear will not be a problem.
We kept the trap in there until late last week and saw no more signs either on our remote camera or the drawing him into the trap. So we pulled the trap because he apparently left the area.
FWP recommends removing anything that could attract a bear, like bags of garbage, and using electric fencing to protect animals. Fish, Wildlife and Parks closes bighorn sheep hunting in the Plains area due to an outbreak of a disease. A population survey found only 18 bighorns in the hunting district. FWP says that that's the lowest number since the herd's introduction in 1979. About 200 people already applied for the 10 available licenses. They can request a different district or receive a refund. FWP closes bighorn sheep hunting near Gardner after pneumonia killed 34 sheep.
Happening tonight across the country and around the world, unconcerned, unrepentant, and unchanged. That's how the prosecutor today described Dzhokhar Tsarnaev during day 1 of his sentencing hearing. The jury today began deciding if the Boston Marathon bomber should spend the rest of his life in prison or be put to death. In court, the prosecution showed an image of Tsarnaev flipping off a security camera while in a court holding cell. It was taken July 2013. Prosecutors are trying to show Tsarnaev is not remorseful for the havoc and sorrow he created. They will, in the coming days, have the jury hear from the people injured in the bombing and from family members of those killed. The head of the Drug Enforcement Agency, or administration rather, is retiring under pressure. This in the wake of a report detailing allegations agents attended sex parties with prostitutes. Michelle Lionheart, who has led the agency since 2007, will leave in mid-May. Her retirement announced today by Attorney General Eric Holder.
Heading over to Europe, a surprising admission of guilt in a Nazi war crime trial in Germany. A former Nazi death camp officer known as the bookkeeper of Auschwitz has admitted guilt and asked for forgiveness at his trial in Germany. The 93-year-old man is charged with 300,000 counts of accessory to murder for the gassing of deported Hungarian Jews. A reminder for all of us as the weather begins to turn warmer. This is 41-year-old James Corrior, arrested in Arizona on suspicion of manslaughter after he left his 2.5-year-old boy in his car in 90-degree heat.
The child struggled. There were no car seats in the car at the time. Yesterday's temperature was in the 90s. The child at 2.5 years of age was able to do damage to the inside of the vehicle in his attempt to get out. It's an absolutely horrific death.
And we're going to be talking about some warmer temperatures in just a second. Weather's next.
tracking the weather for western Montana. ABC Montana is the Weather Authority.
Good evening from the ABC Montana Weather Center. Well, we're at 72 degrees. That was the high today in Kalispell and Missoula. We were at 73 in Helena, 68 in Dillon, 65 in Butte, 67 in Bozeman. Really was just a nice day. Looks like it's going to be a nice day tomorrow. Doesn't look like it's going to be too cold out there. In fact, as our current temperatures, we're at 53 and partly cloudy in Kalispell. Clear in Missoula, 56, cloudy in Butte and Dillon. We're at 54 in Butte, 50 in Dillon, but clear in Bozeman. The current temperature is 48 degrees. Three big weather systems we're talking about. First one, cold front coming ashore right about now. Second one, that looks like our weekend coming at us, and it looks like that's going to probably be cloudy skies, 30 to 40% chance of rain and cooler temperatures. And then way out in the Pacific, you can see the big old whirlpool of clouds here. That's our next weather system sometime, well, next week. We'll worry about it then. As we zoom on in, take a look at the Montana clouds. Not many tonight. It really is going to be a pretty night out there. But tomorrow afternoon, clouds will be increasing ahead of the cold front that's coming our way. Of course, windy conditions as well. And you're starting to see not just the green stuff here on the Futurecast model, but the yellow stuff. Well, that's indicating heavier rain showers, also indicating the possibility of some, moderate thunderstorms. Now, if we had little red dots in here too, that would be indicating the possibility of those severe thunderstorms. We don't have any of that in the forecast right now, but it's springtime, so the forecast model colors are changing on us just a little bit as we get ready for the hot summer months. So what's coming our way as far as winds? Well, moderate winds. You see here on the scale this light green, light blue. Well, we'll play the loop for you again. There's the front coming ashore. Really strong winds in Washington, but by the time it makes its way into Montana, we're not expecting the winds to be quite as strong. Still gusting 15, 20, 25 miles an hour with the front, but that's about it. And as far as rain, well, that's pretty much, we've heard of no big deal snow. We're going to call it no big deal rain. A second rainstorm later on in the week and on into the weekend. Yeah, I'll talk about that next in the 7-day forecast.
right now. This is ABC Montana Local News at 10.
Well, is work getting in the way of your workout?
Yes.
A couple of head nods. Fret no more. You can tell your boss about this next story. New research suggests working while walking at a treadmill desk does not impact job performance in a bad way. Two Brigham Young University researchers found that people on treadmill desks perform cognitive tasks nearly as well as those sitting at desks, despite the fact that they are walking. The researchers say walkers, however, showed slight decreases in processing speed, attention, and typing words per minute, but the overall drop wasn't significant, and the health benefits of treadmill desks seem to outweigh productivity.
I have a hard time chewing gum and walking at the same time. I can't imagine typing and walking at the same time.
Just imagine what would happen in a breaking news scenario. If you look up.
As a matter of fact, I'm walking right now.
Or if you get some bratty person in there that slowly kicks up the speed on the treadmill.
Oh yeah, that's
doesn't
what
tell
Angela
somebody
would do
about
to me,
it.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Okay, so here's an story, and you'll have to admit that it really is. A puppy is lucky to be alive after falling into a hole and getting stuck. Look at this puppy. Firefighters say that the puppy was trapped in PVC piping in an apartment complex near Atlanta. It's not clear how the dog fell into the hole, but fire and emergency crews used heavy equipment to rescue the pup. This morning, the puppy was shaken but okay and was reunited with his 4-year-old owner, who says that it was a birthday present. Oh, that is an awe story. Everyone together?
I was just going to say, oh, it's so cute, a little fur ball.
Okay, is your sports story that cute?
No, it's not that cute, but it is impressive and a little bit ridiculous. Whether he wins or loses, Manny Pacquiao will make plenty of bank in the next month when he takes on Floyd Mayweather Jr. The Manila Bulletin reports Pacquiao will make more than $2 million just from the sponsorship of his shorts. I'll repeat that again. He'll make $2 million for wearing shorts. That's believed to be the highest total of any particular. And we're getting the wrap up, but he's expected to make more than about $25,000 per second in that match.
Cute.
Yeah.
Just like the puppy story.
Let's hope it's longer than 2 seconds. Have a good night, folks.